Good evening, everybody. Jason Sarney here with PhinManiacs, live in a special Thursday night football edition previewing the New York Giants going down to the Miami Dolphins on Sunday. And who better to bring in than a New York Giant reporter from ESPN's NFL Nation, Jordon Raanan. How are you, sir?
Appreciate you having me, man. All good. And you?
Can't complain. Still having a little bit of the Thanksgiving turkey hangover, but I trust yours was okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. Things are going well down there for the Dolphins, so I don't know. You got to be feeling good.
Feeling good. Did not really want to get out of November. We are in December now, so it's a new slate month-wise. They were 4-0, and, the Giants coming to town, but let us know what's going on in, no pun intended, that neck of the woods with the QB situation going on.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones has a neck injury. There's doubt about whether he's going to be able to play this week. Mike Lennon would start, if not. And I'm not really sure how long the Giants are going to drag this out. It could be up until game time. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way that, Joe Judge and Brian Flores super close. So maybe a little gamesmanship going on. I mean, certainly wouldn't doubt that at all. So, we'll see how it goes. But I think the Giants are preparing for both the possibilities of Mike Lennon starting or Daniel Jones playing. They had to do this earlier in the year. Daniel Jones ended up starting. He had a concussion. Mike Lennon, though, prepared that week. He also played pretty much the second half of their game against the Cowboys. And for the most part, they moved the ball decent. They moved the ball pretty well. He ended up having 2 interceptions. One I don't think was his fault. But, they were okay with him behind center. So I don't think it makes them one of these teams that is just completely incapable of doing anything offensively if he's in there. But also, either way, let's be honest, the Giants aren't exactly an explosive offense.
Exactly right. And you know what I think is very intriguing about both offenses of the Giants and the Dolphins is that they are both led at receiving and receptions-wise by a rookie, Kadarius Toney for the Giants, and then, of course, Jalen Waddle for the Dolphins. Now, does Kadarius Toney's game get very much affected by Glennon in, or what do Dolphins have to worry about?
How about the fact that Kadarius Toney's probably not playing? He hasn't practiced this week. He didn't play last week, so I'd be surprised if he's playing as well. So, I mean, that's kind of where the Giants are at. They've been in this real endless cycle of playmaker injuries. So doesn't seem to want to stop there.
What do Dolphin fans have to worry about this New York Giant offense, regardless of who's a quarterback? The skill position players. Who do the Dolphins' defensive stars have to key on?
You want to really look at it and tell me, I'll tell you the answer is like nothing. I mean, the Giants' offense has been pretty impotent for the last 2 years. So, no, but Saquon Barkley's back and getting healthier. I think the potential for a big play is always there with him. He broke off a 30-yard run or so last week. You blitz the Giants, you get beat, get Saquon Barkley into that second level, you're going to get a big play hit on you. Kenny Golladay getting healthier, big offseason acquisition. Giants have made a concerted effort last week and after their offensive coordinator change, get the ball to Kenny Golladay and their playmakers. So to me, it starts with those two guys right now. It's Saquon Barkley, Kenny Golladay.
We're going to bring in also in a couple of moments, and I know you're tight schedule. You got to get in and out of here before the game. But Will Manso, down in Florida, WPLG, local, big Giant fan, also totally embedded in the Dolphin community. So what I'm curious on your end, what is the Giant fan climate like heading down for this game? Is there confidence? Is there fear? A little bit of both?
I mean, I will say this about the Giant fan. I have never seen them as a whole, and Will can kind of chime in here about how he feels, but the Giant fan as a whole, in general, has been unusually demoralized this year. There's no longer the goodwill left from the championship years. I mean, it lasted a long time. I mean, even up until like a couple of years ago, the last couple of years, there's always hope. Every time, you start 0-2 every year, it was always like, we started 0-2 in 2007. Well, there's not even close to the same level of talent or the same team anymore. Giants fans booed John Mara during Eli Manning's retirement ceremony. If I told you that 5 years ago, you would have thought I was crazy that was a possibility. But that's kind of where this fan base is. Nobody's a real believer in this team and the organization right now because the track record they're building up over now an extended period of time. You want to say just the last 5 years definitely has been bad. 4 or 5 years. You can stretch back to 8 years. It's been really bad. And so the Giant fan in general is pretty down on this team. I don't think they're overly optimistic, even though they won an ugly game against the Eagles the other day, of what especially this offense is going to bring to the table.
Dolphin Twitter land. And with that, I'm going to say, Jordan, if you want to hang around for a couple more minutes, you are more than welcome.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Cool. So we'll bring in Will Manso, sports director of WPLG Local 10 down in South Florida. How are you, Will?
I'm good. I mean, I was okay until I heard Jordan rehash all the Giants pain because he's absolutely right, man. I'll never complain being a Giants fan because we've had some great memories, but man, those memories are starting to get more and more distant as the years pass. You know, so
you can't complain when you're down in Miami and they haven't won a Super Bowl in like your lifetime.
Guys, know the room here.
With 4 rings, I guess.
Yeah. That's the thing. I always tell Dolphin fans, I was born, I don't mind, I'm 46. I was born in 75. So I haven't, as a fan growing up, nor as a media member, witnessed a Dolphin Super Bowl win. So I could never truly complain, but I do miss the good days of Giants football. That's for sure. I miss Eli. I miss the good days. And the last 5 years, like Jordan said, have been rough, man.
I will tell you both this. As a Dolphin fan, the name David Tyree is legendary to me because he kind of preserved that undefeated season. If you really want to look back at it, he had a very, very huge part of that Super Bowl win. So you guys still have that diamond, still crusted ring, still fresh in the air. So
I mean, that's what you're hanging your hat on as a Dolphin fan. Things like that. That's the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
You deserve something in your lifetime, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
I agree. From your mouth to God's ears, Jordan. Now, well, I want to bring you on, and I want to get, you're kind of a reverse fish out of water, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You're a Giant fan down in Florida. I'm a Dolphin fan here in the Northeast. So what's it been like down there? 4-game win streak, and now everyone's already kind of putting that 5th W, it looks like, in the Twitterverse.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's interesting because obviously I have my Daniel Jones jersey hanging back there somewhere, and somehow Giants fans like me and many are still somehow behind Jones 3 years into this experience, and he still hasn't really improved to the point you want to see him. Yet Tua down here, a year roughly into this, basically a 16 game as a starter, career. Everybody's still trying to figure out what he is, and you got people jumping off, and you got people trying to defend him. It's a weird thing down here because they've won these 4 in a row, yet the questions of what Tua is and what he could be are kind of the big discussion down here, and everybody nitpicks at every little thing he does. And I'm curious too, because I've seen, like I said, I follow Jordan's work and I obviously follow the Giants. And I feel like Giants fans in a way have been kind of soft with Daniel Jones in the sense of like, okay, maybe he's going to turn the corner. Maybe he's not. Where Dolphin fans have jumped ship, man. The second they heard Deshaun Watson and those rumors, they jumped ship on Tua a year in. So that's kind of been the feel of not only is this team, can they keep winning, but can you win with Tua is the question down here.
It is a great question. I think that this last month, he's done everything that he can to prove that he could do it. And if only given an offensive line, given maybe a power running game, blah, 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 blah. We all hear that. But to
sounds
flip on
familiar.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
It is.
Doesn't
There's
it?
a lot of parallels. It's funny. I mean, you guys have the 4 Super Bowls since the 80s. I get it. But, historic franchises, both kind of in a rut, and you wouldn't think. I put out a tweet today. They have more Super Bowl appearances, the 2 franchises combined. Here we are in December, than combined wins this year. So it's a weird flip of where they are historically. But defensively, there's 2 terrific pass rushers on each side of the field here. You got Azeez Ojulari from Georgia for the Giants, who's top 3 in sacks for the rookies. And you have the number 2 sack rookie man on Miami sidelines and Jalen Phillips from the U. So Jordan, first, how is Azeez Ojulari performing from a Giant fan perspective, and how's he really developing?
I mean, it's a tough one because you look and you say he has the sacks, and he does. He flashes a few times a game. The problem is there's a lot of times where he's also seems to be just missing. But it's a tough situation with the Giants because they're so thin at pass rusher that you're almost asking him to be your number one edge rusher when that's not ideal. The ideal world, he might even be a situational pass rusher as a rookie, as a second round pick. But you're looking at him saying, he's invisible for half the game, but he's still producing to a pretty solid, standard. So you see enough there where you're optimistic that that long term he could become a really good player. He's not quite yet there in that he's making a constant impact, but he's also being asked to play a role that he's probably not best suited for. So I think if you're looking at it from the Giants, you see a good young player as somebody you can use moving forward. Does he need to be more consistent? Sure, he does. I'm sure we could say that about most rookies. But you have to like what you've seen from him overall so far his rookie year.
And on the Miami side, Will, you know a lot about Jalen Phillips from, covering, the Hurricane days. And he has had a 4-game stretch where he's had at least a half a sack. So he's heating up at the right time. What are your thoughts on his game?
I mean, the difference between the two guys is that one in particular, Jalen's a freak of nature. It's just a different comparison. He is in every which way like the prototypical pass rush freak, like the guy the prototype that you want for an edge guy. The biggest knock on him was, in college, he stopped playing for a year. He had questions about his health and concussion issues, went to UM, looked great for a season. But again, there were the long-term health issues with him. There were actually questions about his desire, which are funny to look at it now because I don't think there's a kid that comes into the league more. He's always like animated and excited to play. He's a really high energy guy. But the difference with him is you watch him on the field and he absolutely manhandles guys one-on-one. And we're talking about veteran guys on the edge. So he has been exactly what they need. And as the season's gone on, he's got more comfortable. He had a couple of health issues early with minor, little injuries. But the last 4 or 5 weeks, guys, he's been one of the elite pass rushers, not just rookies, but pass rushers in the game, and just his win rate on just getting off the snap, beating guys, getting to the quarterback pressure. He had a sack last week where he got blocked, spun out, beat the next blocker, and sacked the guy, and it happened like in 2 seconds. And that's a rare trait and talent, especially for a rookie.
It was a beautiful play. I know the play you're referencing. He has become a guy who's adding moves to his repertoire. So that's a fantastic thing to see. In terms of the evaluation, I'm going to bring in one more guy before we have a couple more minutes before we all can enjoy some Thursday night football. We all love Hussam Patel. He's got the technical football skills, and he's going to tell us a couple of New York Giant and Miami Dolphin tidbits. How are you, Hussam?
I'm good, Jason. Jordon, Will, nice to see you guys.
Brother.
If you have any questions for any of these guys in terms of what you're wanting to know what's going on in this game, the floor is yours, my friend.
Of course. So, Jordan, I wanted to ask you first with, the entire inside linebacker corps being on IR and being injured, how likely do you see Tua and the offense attacking the middle of the field? And do you see potentially Mike Gesicki getting at least 5+ targets this game?
Yeah, if you're an opposing offense, and you're looking at the Giants defense, each week that has to be one of your number one things is, okay, let's attack the middle of the field. Let's beat them with throwing the ball to the slot receivers, the tight ends. Go look what the Bucs did a couple weeks ago on Monday night. Tom Brady, who basically that's what he does nowadays because his team is stacked. He stands at the line of scrimmage and says, okay, where is my advantage here? Where do I have the good matchup? Where does the matchup work in my favor? And he said, here's my tight end Gronk over here. He can get open anytime he wants. Here's my slot receiver. We're moving Chris Godwin in there the whole game. I'll just sit there and throw the ball to them the whole game. Boom, boom, boom. And, they're wrecking the Giants defense. And to me, that's the way you beat this Giants defense. Now, Logan Ryan is back this game, which should help them. Logan Ryan plays safety, even though he was a former cornerback. He's going to help guarding the interior of the field. So maybe you can't do that to quite the same degree. But if you're attacking the Giants defense, your plan of attack should not be, I'm going to throw at James Bradbury. Like, he's their best cornerback. He struggled at time this year, but there's way better options to sit there and throw the ball on this defense. And like you said, it begins with the middle of the field. They should target Mike Gesicki 5, 7, 8 times in this game if they want to have success against this defense.
So, Will, with Devontae Parker potentially coming back, again, I say this as potentially as he's not confirmed to actually be starting yet, Tua is growing nicely with his weapons, but the fact of the matter is that he's not getting much help from his offensive line. Now, this Giants defensive line, while they may not have the attackers on the edge like Carolina did, but they have attackers inside, and it's going to be a matchup for Robert Hunt, whoever will be starting as center, and Austin Jackson as well. How will that interior offensive line be able to handle that interior pass rush?
I mean, look, the reality is this: the Giants don't have necessarily their strength is not the pass rush. And Jordan referenced it a bit while he was on talking about what they can do. It's really Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence. They've got a combination. Johnson. They've got guys there. Williams in particular is a stud. They gave him a big contract for a reason. But I think when you're the Dolphins, your game plan is to get the ball out of Tua's hands quickly, regardless of what the other team has. I think it's a little more comfortable when you don't have the strength and edges. You mentioned Carolina. When you don't have those edges coming at you. When you don't have those guys that are just coming at you, like a Brian Burns and those kind of guys that you'll see, or even Jalen, who we mentioned earlier, to deal with. The Giants don't have an equivalent of that. So you can get the ball out quickly to your receivers. And whether Devontae plays or not, I think the biggest issue, or the biggest, I guess, positive for the Dolphins that has come up in the last few weeks is that Jalen Waddle and Tua have a connection going, that there's a comfort there on those slants, on those quick passes out of the backfield, sort of, almost like a little quarterback kind of, quick little fling out, like a sideways pass that he does to Waddle, or a slant that they have been working to perfection. And we saw it work really well last week. So I think that's the way you attack. The quick passes, get the ball out quickly. Giants aren't going to get to you very quickly with the pass rush. It likely will take a second or third read before they get that pressure. Now, Patrick Graham, who's got a history with Brian Flores, may try to think ahead and say, maybe this is the game I blitz more. Maybe this is the game I look to pressure more. He did that a little bit more last week. They didn't do that against Tom Brady. Jordan referenced that game where Brady picked them apart. If they want to play sit back, maybe they can make Tua force a mistake. But if they want to force the issue, they may say, hey, let's see how Tua's not Tom Brady. Let's see if we can blitz him and get to him and make him make a mistake. Because I'll give you one stat, and when it comes to the Giants defense, they have forced at least one turnover every single game. That is their way they make it work. That is what they try to do. And it's the way they flip a game and keep the team in it when their offense isn't very good.
So I'm sorry, they're tied for 6th in takeaways, both these teams. So they do get the ball. They are kind of ball hawking defenses. Go ahead, Simon. Before that, thank you to Jordan Raanan. He had a run, but you can check out Jordan's work on NFL Nation. He's terrific. So thank you, Jordan. So go on, Sam.
Of course, and look, the Miami Dolphins, they're red hot right now. Tua's making plays. The defense is back to their 2020 winning ways. But It sounds like it may be a defensive struggle just a little bit. My prediction is that Miami should be able to win this game, but I won't be surprised if my pick is wrong based on how the Giants are also trending. They've won 3 of their last 5 games, and they appear to be doing well in the wake of Garrett's departure. Now, of course, Daniel Jones might not be playing. It's looking like Mike Glennon, but there's not a lot of tape on Mike Glennon in this Giants offense, and it's very hard for a defense to see a first-time quarterback in a new offense. He suffered it against the Eagles, and that's unfortunate. But it's that defense that has been winning it for them, that Patrick Graham-led defense. He can blitz more up against Tua. As you said, he might look to test Tua and how he does under the blitz. Contrary to belief, Tua's doing very well against the blitz compared to that 7-man, 8-man look he's seeing in coverage. The Giants, they are about 18.4 points per game. But
don't remind me. They can't score.
Well, look, the Dolphins are 19.5, so it's like just a 1-point difference. Well, it's not that big of a difference. But with Jones being out, it's certainly not ideal for that offense. But as you said, blitzing Tua might be the key. But what else can that defense do to limit Jalen Waddle, to limit Mike Gesicki, to even stop what the running game has become.
I think that's it, Usam. I think the list ends with those two guys.
Yeah, I think you stop there. Well, because I don't know. I missed the beginning of Jordon, so I don't know if you referenced it, but Adoree Jackson, who's their second corner, and James Bradbury is an all-pro type corner who, as Jordan referenced, has been a little more up and down than usual this year, but for the most part, he's up. I mean, he's a lockdown corner. I have to assume that Bradbury will be on Waddle most of the game, and at times in key moments, I could see Bradbury going on to help out with Gesicki, because again, those are your weapons. That's what you have to try to stop. So you got to put your best out there against those guys. If Adoree Jackson doesn't play and you get into that next level, Adoree Jackson's been very good this year, very, very quietly, very good free agent pickup for the Giants. Their defense, it's similar how these teams are so similar defensively in the sense that they both came into the season with expectations on defense, didn't live up to it for the first 6-7 weeks, and now in the past month or so have been more like it. Now, the Dolphins have been a little bit more impressive because I think the Dolphins have a few more guys that can make plays. As we mentioned, Jalen, we see what Javon Holland has become. But they have, the Giants, their own kind of Javon Holland and Xavier McKinney, who has been outstanding for them. I mean, the last month, we watched Holland down here in South Florida. Xavier McKinney has been that over there. He's a guy that came from Alabama with high expectations, was injured his rookie year a lot, missed half the year. He's starting to play like that stud player. So when you look at this game, definitely a defensive struggle. I think the consistency Miami is starting to show with Tua and his efficiency on offense and being able to find Jalen are, to me, the keys. But the wild card, guys, is can Saquon be Saquon? If Saquon, I was in New Orleans for a Giants-Saints game earlier this year when as a fan. Saquon was incredible that game. He won the game in overtime on a touchdown run. He looked like Saquon. If you get Saquon looking like Saquon all of a sudden, it changes the complexity of the game because now it doesn't matter about Mike Glennon. If you just give him a few holes and he can break one, it changes the game. That's something the Dolphins don't have on their ground game. They obviously don't have that with Myles Gaskin. They don't have it with Phillip Lindsay or any of the guys that they have running out there. So to me, that's where the difference comes down to.
Terrific point on Saquon. Now, the Dolphins started off the year very poor against the run. 3 running backs who really didn't have tremendous business of gaining 100 yards did so on them by the 4th game. But that's where it stopped. So they kind of have not given up 100-yard rushers. So they kind of figured it out. But you're right. I mean, Saquon, when he's right, he's a top 5. I don't care how you slice it. So we have a couple of minutes, guys, until the Thursday night game. And, of course, Will, thank you so much for jumping on. Do you have any thoughts of tonight's game, any overall thoughts, or what's going on for the holiday season over at the Mansos?
Well, I'm excited for the holidays. I'm busy with the heat, so heat season always keeps me busy. I don't really have a lot of days off, which is fine. I never complain. We're going to the game. I'm actually have Sunday off to go take the family to the game because my wife is born and raised in Miami. My daughters are born in South Florida. So I try to have, through the years, I teach them my Giants love, but I want them to root for the Dolphins, So we got our mismatch, wearing Dolphin shirts, Giants shorts. I got Tua socks and Saquon socks for the kids. We're going to go to the game on Sunday and have a good time. And whoever wins, I'll be happy because I hate seeing the Giants lose. That's my team. But I would love to see if the Giants lose, that means the Dolphins have won 5 straight, which is pretty damn cool for me as a fan, but also to cover a team. We love covering winners, man. And a team on a 5-game winning streak is a lot more fun than a team on a 5-game losing streak. So I look forward to the game. I think it'll be fun. I think you'll have a lot of Giants fans there. As we know, there's a lot of New Yorkers down here. But I think it'll be an entertaining game. And it's a rare time to see these two teams together. And hopefully I'm with us on. I think this is a probably 20-17 type of game, that's the kind of feel I have. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the range of scoring in this game and who wins it.
I like that prediction. I was kind of thinking like that 1916 weird field goal, mathematics, but really appreciate it, Will. Thank you so much. And Usam, if you want to get us out of here with any last tidbits, and your master of stats and football wizardry.
I mean, nothing much. I do want to point out one thing I've been noticing a lot, and I'm trying to put this out in an article soon, but I have some type of writer's block. But if you see the Dolphins offense, their pistol and teaming formation, they're doing really, really well with the RPOs and quick game as well. Now, Miami doesn't have that premier running back to really threaten defenses with that running game, but it's building that way. You're seeing Myles Gaskin get better, 50 yards a carry. They've been hitting 100 yards per game the last 2-3 games. So they're slowly trying to build up this team and this offense. And if it carries over next season, they get the right people on the line and running back, could have a really good offense next season.
Can we get a score from you, Hassan, for Sunday?
Well, I'll probably be coming back from work, and every time I sleep during Dolphins games, the Dolphins win. So I'm predicting a Dolphins win, 24-20.
Yeah, I'll say 20. I'll say 20-17, but I didn't say the winner. I think the Dolphins will win, and I don't think it matters if Daniel Jones plays or not, because I think if he does play somehow, he'll be limited. I don't think he'll be able to use his feet and his legs the way he can, which really diminishes anything that his strength is, his ability to fool you with the run and make a big play. You lose that, and I don't think. Put it this way, I don't think they lose much in having Mike Glennon out there. It's not. It won't change the result of the game, in my opinion.
I agree, and I think the three of us, we do happen to like a Miami win, but I think we're all in agreement that it might be a little sloppy, a little defensive. But whatever the case may be, we're in December. A happy holiday season to Will. A thank you to Jordan Raanan. Hussam, we'll talk 50 million times again today, as usual. But thank you to everyone. Take care, everybody, and a big fins up to you. Bye, everyone.